Welcome, Aquarius, to your Nodal axis switch, 18-month forecast for the ascendant, sun, or the moon. On July the 27th, for the first time in 17 long years, the North Node returned to your zodiac sign, the Dragon's Head, the South, the Dragon's Tail, to Leo. It's a huge event for us all. Over the next year and a half, the North Node will inverse through your zodiac sign. Now, there are two ways of looking at nodes, the true nodes, like I'm showing you, but also the mean node. If you have looked at any reference websites, they could be flagging the nodal switch is the 18th of August, but the mean nodes is an aggregate. The true nodes is the accurate astronomy. And the nodes, the lunar nodes, are intrinsically linked to eclipses. And if we go back to the 17th of February, we had the first in a new series in your zodiac sign, which clashed bitterly with your ruler, modern ruler of Uranus, which is pretty much a bumpy ride. We've got coming soon the second in the series in Leo, and that's going to be a much more positive event, I feel. But the lunar nodes are the 2 points on when the moon's orbit intersects with the sun's apparent path through the zodiac. But that link to the eclipse is intriguing because we've still got two lunar eclipses to go that are linked to the nodal axis, which has just come into a close. So we got a Pisces lunar eclipse on the 28th of August and a Virgo one on the 20th of February next year. So there is some overlap. But this event for you personally is very, very exciting. But of course, Pluto, the planet of truth, change, and transformation, moved into Aquarius full time a year and a half ago, first moving into Aquarius for 10, 11 weeks in March 23, returning on its birthday, the 21st of January in 24, which happens to be my birthday as well, and then inversing back into Capricorn on the 1st of September before returning to Aquarius full time. So it's the 18th of November. So since then until now, there's been huge changes. And particularly if you've got energy at the front end of Aquarius. So what will the North Node do and what will it augment with Pluto? Well, Pluto's about power, but it can be about where we don't see that power, it can be quite subterranean. But of course, it can be about rejuvenation, but it can also be about destruction in its own way. I think the North Node is also known as the point of destiny. So it's almost like a pull that we're all going to very subtly be drawn towards. And we can look at all the zodiac signs in terms of their higher manifestation, but also their lower. So the lower manifestation of Aquarius might be a bit cool, a bit detached, a bit distant, and that's Pluto, I feel. But the North Node gives us a much greater chance to embrace all the qualities: community, society, connection, um, any way that we can bond together in order to support one another. But maybe Pluto is very much to do with the industrial use of technology and how it's all used by us as a collective, but the power is held by a relatively few amount of people. Now, it's also important not to look at the North Node in isolation. So if we look at the South Node, we have to integrate them. The South Node coming into Leo, it could be a very interesting time because Leo energy is very charismatic, very much to do with leadership. It's warm, it's radiant, it's fantastic at its best. And you know, on this event as it begins, what a combination. We've nearly got a Kazemi, the first for 12 years, radiant energy. It's just that Pluto is competing with these guys. And therefore, that part of you that can be more outspoken, more of a rebel, particularly with Uranus, your modern ruler, in such a great angle to Pluto, could come out. So there's a greater push to get in touch with the most authentic part of your nature, because Uranus's rulership of Aquarius is very much about higher truths. Saturn, much more about stability, continuity, and traditionality. And of course, it's a fixed sign, which always seems a bit odd, doesn't it, with Uranus in the mix and being a water bearer? But that's to do with Uranus because that's very much about baptism. So the South Node there connects to a fixed star in traditional astrology called Regulus. In modern astrology, Regulus is said to be just into Virgo. So that energy there is intriguing because a lot of very charismatic politicians have a connection to Regulus. Donald Trump's ascendant, Boris Johnson's sun moon midpoint, Putin's sun moon midpoint is in Leo. Zelensky also has Mars in Leo as well as the ascendant, I think, in Leo too. So those Leonian energies give people a comfort with the stage, with the spotlight. And of course, Leo can be a very theatrical sign, very dramatic, loves to be playful, loves to show off, loves to get plenty of attention, praise, and recognition. But the interesting part about Regulus is that when Regulus is wronged, it can be very vengeful. It can be extraordinarily arrogant, and it has an inability to rise above personal slights. It's interesting. But with the South Node connecting to Regulus at the present time, I think we are seeing some of these very charismatic politicians being held to greater scrutiny, whether it is Zelensky, whether it is Trump, whether it is Putin. And, the collective is starting to find more of a voice. And also because Aquarius in its purest form is about higher truths, what we've got in the world at large, of course, is the propagation of ideas, not necessarily facts. And so there's a lot of manipulation going on. So I think for you, that could be very positive. And in November next year, the two meet. There you go, on the 16th. For you personally, could even be quite significant for me, actually, because my midpoint, sun moon midpoint, is at 5 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. So that could be an interesting point for me too. However, what we do need to do is to be mindful of what house, and obviously it could be that you don't have your personal north and south nodes across these two signs. So do look at the houses that they're going through, because that will give you a lot of insight. So the south node could be what we need to release. It may be what we retreat to in our natal chart when we're not very comfortable. And the north node is where we need to show more courage, really, to find our voice, gulp in the air through the dragon's mouth and find greater spark. And that's very exciting. So we've covered the fact that the true nodes and the mean nodes are different. You can download my factoid on this. It's free and it goes into the astronomy. It has some diagrams, also share what it's like to have the node in each zodiac sign. And I also talk about that conjunction between the Sun and Pluto next year and how potent that's going to be. But did you know that the North Node is also intrinsically linked to Draconic astrology? Draconic. So that we move in Draconic, the North Node to 0 degrees, the vernal point, and everything moves around. Unless you've got your North Node very late in Pisces or early in Aries, your chart can end up looking very different. All the relationships stay the same, the aspects, but not the planetary positions. So my Sun moves from Aquarius to Gemini, my Moon moves to Cancer from Aquarius. So it can be quite radically different. And you can claim your free Draconic chart and your free year 2026 rest of the year and all of 27 forecast by checking out my very unique offer under this video, 3 for 1, which I've extended the length of the forecast through to the end of next year because I want to give people something more. So I'm going to summarize those 4 arenas for you of energy, work, relationships, and finances. Just before I do, if you would like to work with me one-to-one, or you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, please see underneath this video. If you've yet to watch your August monthly forecast, please check that out under this video too as well. I'll also give you it in the end screen as well. So as far as energy is concerned, so Mercury, the planet of communication, but which can be to do with the nervous system, you have a real affinity for Mercury, being the ruler of your second decan. It's in the 6th house, but it's in a 10th square with Saturn, your traditional ruler, which is stationed in preparation to go retrograde as this event occurred. So it's possible that nervous energy is low, maybe feeling a bit of exhaustion. Also, Neptune in that third house, which can be very much to do with our circulation, is in a square with the moon in the 12th house. If there are unresolved issues which relate to your identity, I think they may need very gently processing over the next year and a half. As far as relationships, while the Sun and Jupiter together in the seventh house is wonderful, it's just the Pluto factor. So if you're really up for collaboration, but someone isn't, Pluto can give you the thrust to make things happen, the desire and determination. But if someone doesn't want to connect with us, what can we do? That could show up. But generally, over the next year and a half, if you would like to meet someone, the more you embrace your unique authenticity, the more you will be attractive to another person. So it's not actually about leaning into what people need so much. It's about really developing your value. Chiron in Taurus, about personal value. The stronger you feel about your emotional well-being, the more someone can be attracted to you. So if you do want a new relationship, it's a very good chart if you can handle the Pluto thing, which could see you really wanting to maintain your independence because that makes you feel safe. And any potential relationship could be a threat. If that's featuring in any way in your mindset, the relationship won't come. So the healing could come by the end of next year as the North Node applies to Pluto. But the release could be with the South Node in Leo, that you begin to just let go an old relationship and the hurt around it. There is, however, Venus, the planet of love but money, in the eighth house, which can be lusty but good for money, in an impetuous right angle with Mars, but in the risk-taking fifth house. There may be someone actually you find very hard to resist over the next year and a half. But when it comes to finances, this could be a bit speculative. Also, partnerships, I think, will need care, business partnerships. But Uranus linking back to Pluto in the fifth first, if you are an innovator, which obviously Aquarius people can be, that augurs very well indeed. As far as we've done romance, we've done energy, and have we done career? No, we've not done career. So nothing in the 10th house at all. So Saturn, third house, stationing, ready to go retrograde. Third house, the way you think, very, very important. It may be that, the work, because it's changing at speed, if you're someone who really does like working for yourself and being very individualistic, it doesn't mean to say you can't still build up noteworthy partnerships. But those partnerships can just have a bit more flexibility and room, almost like a cooperative rather than a full-on locked-in relationship, which really could be a little challenging with that Pluto Sun and Jupiter opposition. Pleasure being with you, Aquarius. All the best. Thank you so much for joining me, and bye for now.